I mean, we could do a phone since, like, we like the operating system in the Tesla. It's Linux based, but we've written a massive amount of software on top of that.
In 2026, Tesla dropped a device no one expected: the Pi phone. On the surface, it looks like just another smartphone, priced at only $273. But hidden inside are features Musk himself has never fully admitted to the public. Energy capsules that seem almost impossible, satellite links that ignore cell towers, and durability fit for survival in apocalyptic scenarios. Some call it innovation. Others whisper it's a tool designed for control. Tonight, we go beyond the glossy ads and into the shadows. What exactly has Tesla unleashed, and why? The energy that never dies. When the Tesla Pi phone was first revealed, most tech analysts focused on the price. How could a phone packed with Tesla branding and cutting-edge features sell for just $273? But the real story wasn't the price tag. It was the way the phone stayed alive, seemingly beyond the limits of modern engineering. The key lies in its unusual power system, a mix of traditional batteries, solar panels, and something Musk has never fully explained: the energy capsule. A typical flagship phone battery is simple enough: 4,000 milliamp hours, nominal voltage around 3.7 volts, giving you about 14.8 watt-hours, enough to power a smartphone for a day of moderate use, maybe 2 if you're careful. Nothing remarkable there. But the Pi phone doesn't stop at the main battery. Integrated into its back panel is a solar array. Not a gimmick, not a toy, an actual functional charging surface. Small, yes, but efficient. At 60 square centimeters with a 22% efficiency rating, under full sunlight it can produce about 1.3 watts. Scale that up to 100 square centimeters at 24% efficiency, and you're looking at over 2 watts. It doesn't sound like much until you realize 1 hour in the sun could give the phone an extra 15% charge, enough to make 5 to 10 emergency calls when everything else is dead. But the strangest piece is the capsule. Solid state, no liquid, no moving parts, designed for long-term storage and sudden release. The very idea raises questions. Why would a consumer phone need technology that sounds more like something pulled out of a classified aerospace lab? Capacities are listed at 10, 15, or 20 watt-hours. In emergency mode, where the phone sips only 0.66 watts to keep GPS, texts, and calls alive, a 20-watt capsule could run the phone for over 30 hours straight, put it into deep standby, consuming just 60 milliwatts, and the same capsule could keep survival functions running for nearly 2 weeks. Now imagine the implications: a device that never really dies, so long as the sun touches it. In disaster zones, war zones, blackouts, or wilderness survival scenarios, the Pi phone doesn't just stay alive, it keeps you tethered to the grid when the grid itself has failed. Why would Tesla design something like that unless they expected the grid to fail? This raises an unsettling question. Was the energy capsule built for consumers, or was it a testbed for something larger? The technology sounds suspiciously similar to power units rumored to be in development for off-world colonies and military survival gear. Some speculate the Pi phone is less about competing with Apple or Samsung and more about proving a portable energy solution on a massive scale. It's easy to dismiss such speculation as paranoia, but one detail stands out. The capsule is sealed, software-controlled, and can't be accessed by normal users. You can't replace it, recharge it independently, or even tamper with it without triggering failsafes. Why lock it down so tightly unless it's storing more than just energy? Could it also be gathering data? Could the capsule itself be some kind of sensor node, a power supply, doubling as a surveillance device? Tesla hasn't answered, and Musk, usually eager to boast about breakthroughs, has kept strangely quiet about this one. If the Pi phone can keep itself alive in the middle of nowhere, the next revelation is even stranger. It can keep you connected when the entire network around you collapses. But how? A network that ignores towers. For decades, cell phones lived and died by the same infrastructure. Towers that go down in storms, Towers that burn in wildfires, towers that crumble in earthquakes. The Pi phone doesn't care. It was born with something different, something people only whisper about when talking about government black projects. Direct-to-satellite communication. Starlink. Thousands of satellites orbiting low over the Earth, each one a node in Musk's ever-expanding net. Most people see it as a way to get Wi-Fi in rural homes or on yachts in the Mediterranean, but the Pi phone changes everything. This isn't about dishes bolted to rooftops. This is about a slab of glass in your hand locking directly onto the same satellites that guide global military operations. How? Instead of bulky dishes, the Pi phone relies on a phased array antenna embedded beneath its case. Think about that. A smartphone with a military-grade antenna small enough to fit in your pocket. Starlink's satellites orbit just 500 to 600 kilometers above Earth, far closer than old geostationary giants parked 36,000 kilometers away. That closeness cuts latency from hundreds of milliseconds to as little as 20, short enough to make a live call, send your location, even stream video through space. Now picture the scenarios. Hurricanes wipe out cell towers? You're still connected. Earthquake severs cables? You're still online. A government deliberately shuts down networks during protests. The Pi phone doesn't blink. For activists, survivalists, and anyone who distrusts centralized power, this is the Holy Grail. For governments, it's a nightmare. Because suddenly, people are holding devices that bypass national telecoms entirely. Encrypted messages can slip directly through the sky, avoiding interception by local providers. In some regions, authorities are already scrambling to figure out how to block Starlink handsets, a task far more difficult than pulling the plug on cell towers. And here's the conspiratorial edge. Do you really think Tesla added this just to help you make calls during a storm? Or is this about building the first civilian device capable of living outside government control? Some analysts believe the Pi phone is a Trojan horse, normalizing satellite phones for the masses. Today, it's marketed as survival gear. Tomorrow, it could be the backbone of a parallel communication system immune to regulation. But there's a darker interpretation too. If all Pi phones connect directly to Starlink, then, in theory, Starlink knows where they all are, all the time. Each user becomes a blinking point on a map, a dataset of global human movement tied to the satellites above. Independence from towers doesn't necessarily mean independence from oversight. The Pi phone can survive without towers, but could it survive without you? Was this phone made to outlast the owner, built for a decade, or for something else? Most smartphones are disposable by design. Screens that shatter, batteries that fade, updates that stop after 3 or 4 years. Planned obsolescence isn't just a phrase, it's an industry model. But the Tesla Pi phone is different. The numbers tell the story. Your average flagship costs over $1,000 and is built to last maybe 3 years before performance and support wither away. That's $300 to $500 a year. The Pi phone, built with aerospace-grade titanium, sapphire glass, and modular parts, designed to last a decade or more. At the same price point, that drops the cost to $100 a year. But this isn't just economics, it's ideology. Titanium alloy, TY6AL4V, normally reserved for aircraft and spacecraft, wraps the phone's frame. Its tensile strength is nearly 1,000 megapascals, 4 times stronger than the aluminum that holds together an iPhone. A drop that would shatter other devices barely leaves a dent here. Pair that with sapphire crystal glass, second only to diamond in hardness, and you've got a screen that laughs at keys, coins, even pocket sand. It's overkill. And that's what makes it suspicious. Why design a consumer phone to military specifications? Why seal it against water, dust, and impact with ratings that exceed most rugged phones on the market? Why integrate magnetic locks and gaskets that could survive years of heavy compression cycles without degradation? Unless, of course, Tesla wasn't designing this phone just for consumers. Imagine a device meant to function in deserts, jungles, frozen tundras, and even war zones. Anywhere a human might go. Some insiders whisper that the Pi phone looks less like a smartphone and more like field equipment disguised for the public. By making a phone that lasts 10 years, Tesla directly undermines one of the biggest profit streams in the tech industry: forced upgrades. Could it be an act of rebellion against planned obsolescence? Or is there another motive? If people hold on to their Pi phones for a decade, Tesla maintains control of their ecosystem for that decade too. One device, one satellite link, one capsule. All roads leading back to Musk. For users, the appeal is obvious. A phone that won't break, won't quit, and won't drain your wallet every 2 years. But for skeptics, it's something else entirely. What if durability isn't a gift? It's a leash. A phone that never dies, that never loses signal, and that never breaks. But why does it need all three? The answer might lie not in what it promises, but in what it hides. The questions no one wants answered. Every feature of the Tesla Pi phone can be explained away if you want to. The energy capsule, just clever engineering. Starlink connectivity, just Musk leveraging his satellite empire. 10-year durability, just a push for sustainability. But put them together, and a pattern emerges that feels deliberate. A phone that generates its own power, that communicates without towers, that can survive for a decade without replacement. On paper, it's a survivalist's dream. In practice, it looks suspiciously like a prototype for something else entirely. Some researchers suggest the Pi phone is less about phones and more about proof of concept. Proof that a compact device can operate independently of infrastructure for long durations, even under extreme conditions. Sound familiar? It's the same checklist you'd need for a device designed to operate on Mars, or on battlefields where supply lines collapse, or in regions where governments can't be trusted to maintain infrastructure. And then there's the secrecy. Musk has boasted about Tesla cars, rockets, batteries, even flamethrowers. But about the Pi phone? Almost nothing. No keynote demonstrations, no flashy ads, just a quiet rollout with minimal fanfare, almost as if the less said, the better. Why would Tesla pour aerospace-grade resources into a phone priced lower than most mid-range devices? Why design survival features most users will never touch? And why lock down the capsule so tightly that even tech enthusiasts can't pry it open? Is it possible the Pi phone isn't meant for us at all? That we're just beta testers for a system built for something else? Could it be that the phone's true purpose is hidden not in its specs, but in its silence? These questions only grow darker when we look at what comes next. The whispers that this phone isn't just built to survive disasters, but to predict them. The phone that predicts disasters. It started as a rumor on survivalist forums. Owners claimed the Tesla Pi phone would sometimes issue alerts seconds before earthquakes, floods, or network outages. At first, people assumed it was connected to government early warning systems, piggybacking on seismic networks and weather satellites. But digging deeper revealed something stranger. The Pi phone doesn't simply receive data. Its design suggests it can also generate it. Tiny embedded sensors hidden inside the casing measure electromagnetic fluctuations, atmospheric pressure, even ground vibrations. Individually, none of these are groundbreaking. Combined, they form a system eerily similar to experimental predictive analytics platforms used by defense agencies. Here's where it gets suspicious. Why would Tesla pack a sub-$300 consumer phone with sensors capable of tracking signals most people will never use? Unless this isn't just about consumer safety. Unless these sensors are doubling as a vast distributed network, turning every Pi phone into part of a global monitoring web. Think about it. Millions of phones scattered across every continent, all feeding subtle environmental data back through Starlink. A hidden army of sensors disguised as smartphones. Could this data predict natural disasters? Could it detect unusual patterns that hint at nuclear tests, blackouts, or even covert military operations? The answer may already be yes, and yet no one at Tesla has addressed this. The manuals don't mention predictive features. The press releases are silent. If these functions exist, they exist in shadows, turned on and off remotely. Imagine holding a phone in your hand that knows more about the world around you than you do and decides what you're allowed to see. If Tesla's phone can sense the unseen, then the next revelation is even more chilling. What if it can also listen to you in ways ordinary devices cannot? The listening glass. Every phone has microphones. That's nothing new. But the Pi phone seems to blur the line between microphones and sensors. Teardown reports from engineers who managed to acquire early prototypes suggest that its sound capture array is unusually advanced, rivaling equipment used in surveillance drones. One engineer described it bluntly. It doesn't just record your voice, it maps your environment. The array can allegedly capture audio frequencies beyond normal human hearing, vibrations in walls, faint hums from electronics, even the rhythm of footsteps. Combined with Tesla's AI software, the phone doesn't just hear sound, it interprets it. Why would a consumer need that? Tesla markets it as enhanced noise cancellation and ultra-clear call quality. But the conspiracy-minded see something darker. A pocket device that can build acoustic fingerprints of rooms, that can detect the number of people nearby, the type of equipment running, even the stress in a person's voice. Now, imagine every Pi phone quietly uploading these acoustic maps to Starlink. You wouldn't just have a global network of environmental sensors, you'd have a global network of ears. And the strangest part, owners claim the Pi phone behaves differently when completely offline. Some report that the device will still activate emergency call modes, even when all visible networks are turned off. How does it know when to switch on? Does it listen for specific triggers? Could it be primed to respond to signals ordinary users can't detect? This isn't just paranoia. Surveillance researchers have warned for years that companies blur the line between consumer features and intelligence-grade tech. If the Pi phone truly listens the way some claim, it might not just be your lifeline, it might also be your leash. But if the phone can hear what others cannot, what happens when it starts showing you what others refuse to see? The hidden screens. The Tesla Pi phone's display seems ordinary at first glance. A bright OLED panel beneath sapphire glass. But some users report anomalies that sound like something out of a spy thriller. Screens that flicker faintly in complete darkness. Patterns that appear only when photographed with infrared cameras. Glimpses of symbols not present in normal use. Could these be glitches? Absolutely. OLED displays sometimes exhibit ghosting or test patterns, but others believe these phantoms are intentional, hidden interface layers designed for use with augmented reality systems or encrypted overlays. One leaked memo, allegedly from a Tesla contractor, claimed the Pi phone contains a low-frequency visual system used for field testing heads-up display integration. If true, that means the Pi phone isn't just a phone. It's part of a larger ecosystem, a stepping stone toward wearables and neural interfaces. What has the phone already shown some users that the rest of us are not allowed to see? There are whispers of emergency screens that activate only under specific conditions, natural disasters, government blackouts, or security crises. Screens that display evacuation routes, encrypted messages, or unknown coordinates. If even part of that is true, then the Pi phone isn't a consumer device at all. It's a prototype field terminal disguised as one, a civilian tool with military bones. But no matter how advanced, no device is immune to time. And this is where the Tesla Pi phone story takes its final twist, the question of why it was really built. The final question. Phones come and go, models rise and fall, but the Pi phone feels different, almost staged. Too many coincidences, too many mysteries. A device that powers itself when others die, connects when others fail, listens when others cannot, and lasts far longer than others are allowed to. So here's the ultimate question. Why? Why build a device so durable, so independent, so suspiciously over-engineered, and then sell it for less than $300? The optimistic answer: Musk wants to disrupt smartphones the way he disrupted cars and rockets, give ordinary people extraordinary tools, and force the industry to change. The cynical answer? The Pi phone is bait. It hooks millions into a network that isn't just about communication, but about surveillance, data collection, and control. And then there's the conspiratorial answer, that the Pi phone isn't really about us at all. It's about preparing for something bigger, a future off Earth, or a future where Earth itself is plunged into chaos. In either case, the Pi phone is less a phone and more a test. A test to see how long a pocket device can keep humans tethered to a system when everything else falls away. The truth, for now, remains locked inside its titanium shell. The Tesla Pi phone may look like just another smartphone, but the deeper you dig, the more it resembles a glimpse of tomorrow, or a warning of it. A device that redefines survival, bends the rules of networks, and whispers of hidden functions we may never fully understand. So what do you think? Is this the ultimate tool for independence, or the sleekest Trojan horse ever built? One thing is certain. When technology reaches this level of mystery, the line between innovation and control becomes dangerously thin. If you found this breakdown fascinating, hit that like button, drop your theories in the comments, and subscribe to West Tech so you never miss the stories that peel back the curtain on the world's most secretive breakthroughs.